The year is 2059. Global temperature change is up 2.2 degrees Celsius. And over 1 million people have died per year due to extreme heat. Extrapolations, episode 4, entitled The Face of God. Let's unpack this. Welcome back. My name's Sean. This is Sean's Take. And today we're talking about extrapolations. This is a nice change for this series, and it's a nice progression for this series, this episode. So we start with Edward Norton's character Jonathan and family and friends watching as the President of the United States announces that she has signed the CIT2 treaty, placing a moratorium on geoengineering, meaning we're not going to allow scientists to experiment with the atmosphere to try and control global warming. We're going to try and do it naturally. So Jonathan, Edward Norton's character, is a presidential advisor who advised her to sign the treaty, but his son is a bit upset, to say the least, that this has happened, and he thinks stronger actions are needed to save humanity. Now the son, whose name is Rowan, is played by Michael Gandolfini, and that's James Gandolfini's son. You might know Michael Gandolfini from The Many Saints of Newark, where he played Tony Soprano, the part that his father made famous in The Sopranos. And of course, Jonathan is played by Edward Norton, and shortly we're going to meet Jonathan's ex-wife, Geeta, played by Indira Varam, who you might know from Game of Thrones or from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. She's done a bunch of things. So there's a few big issues in this show. There's not a whole bunch of little ones. So what we have is Edward Norton's ex-wife is debuting gigantic drone airplane cargo planes. She unveils them in sort of a Shark Tank like press conference, and she announces that she's going to lead the first flight herself, meaning she's going to ride on one of the drones, which means nothing because it's a drone. So nobody's quite sure why she's doing that. Rowan is with her at this presentation, and she has named these planes the Rowan. So it's going to be a flight of 10 of them, delivering, I forget how many tons of stuff. So Jonathan, we see, is trying to get a hold of Rowan, his son. Doesn't know that he is with his ex-stepmother. I don't know. And he uses resources at Alpha to track his digital footprint to figure out where he is. So he is tracked down. This is all sort of minor. Yes, it's breaking the law. It's all kinds of things, but it's sort of in his character. And when we see him on his boat outside the seawall, trying to get a hold of Rowan, it's Father's Day, and so the planes take off. So when Jonathan is speaking to the woman in Alpha to get the information about Rowan, his son, he finds out that Bilton might be buying these drones if the test goes well, or the demonstration goes well. Which is not quite what Jonathan wants to hear, but he does wonder if she's planning something else, a demonstration of something else. So as it turns out, He's correct. She's going to geoengineer the atmosphere to begin rain patterns and to slow down the global warming. But what Jonathan understands is that if she does what she's trying to do, it's going to shift weather on Earth and make it worse. It's going to move the weather pattern, so new places will get rain that haven't had any, but then other places will be in drought. The violent weather will continue, the fires will continue, and it will only get worse. If you remember from episodes before, the wildfires are burning, the smoke is in the atmosphere, making it difficult to breathe, and now that the temperature is getting hotter and hotter, more people are becoming susceptible to the heat and the bad air quality. So the Air Force arrives to try and force Greta to land, which of course she doesn't do. The President of the United States makes a call to Bilton, and they sort of make a backroom deal, and she calls off the Air Force. Shortly after the Air Force leaves, and Greta and Rowan believe they've won a seat at the table, at least, to begin talking, Greta is shot out of the sky. We never see by whom or what manner, whether it was another airplane that shot the drone down or if it was a missile or what, but she's blown out of the sky. And we do see a man in Mumbai looking at the explosion in the air, and then he goes on about his business. He's important in the next episode, so come on back for that one. The next episode in this Extrapolations is in the same year, still 2059, and we get to see it slightly different. So we'll pick that one up. So the police go to get Rowan. They triangulate where he is controlling the drones from and come through the door to arrest him. He stands up, turns around, raises his hands, and when they go to cuff him, they realize he's just a hologram. He's somewhere else. Now that Greta's airplane has been destroyed, she's dead, Rowan releases Plan B, or Plan A. I don't even know if it was Plan B. And it's thousands and thousands of drones hauling the chemicals needed to seed the atmosphere to begin the geoengineering of the atmosphere. And he does it. They launch. They disperse. And that's where this episode ends. We see the sky changing with the chemicals. And Jonathan's current wife asks, what happens next? To which he replies, I don't know. And that was the episode. Like I said at the beginning, it is a nice progression. This episode had a much better pace than the previous episodes. I think it's a little more realistic as to the way things are going to be happening as climate change really begins to grip this planet, that it's going to be governments trying to make the right decisions while businesses try to make money, and the machine goes on. I think all the actors in this are doing a pretty good job. I'll do part 2 fairly soon. I thought Michael Gandolfini did a good job. He didn't have a whole lot in this episode, but he had enough. But that's really it for this episode. Good episode. This series is progressing well. I look forward to part 2 of 2059. So one of the good quotes in this one, the name of this episode was The Face of God. And I missed what that's a reference to. If you caught it, let me know in the comments. But Rowan, when he spoke to his dad, did make a reference to a book that he suggested everybody read, and the quote was, "We are as gods. We might as well be good at it." Which, if you're geoengineering the atmosphere of the only planet we have to live on, you do consider yourself as gods. So yeah, you should probably be good at it. What did you think of this episode? What are you thinking of the series, Extrapolations? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what else you're watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you've liked a couple of these, or you like the shows that I'm watching, maybe hit the subscribe button below and the notification so you know when the new episodes come out. But that's it for this one. I'm Sean. This is Sean's Take. The more you know. I'll see you next time.